How you doing? This is Scotty Blinn once again coming at you from the Mississippi Mudsharks and the Rock Academy of San Diego. Got a very short amount of time and want to try to barrel through a whole bunch of stuff for you in this next lesson. Okay, well, what we'll be talking about is playing an open E, which is not the easiest thing to do, but it's a heck of a lot of fun. And a lot of Lightnin Hopkins songs and his style are right in that open E position. So we'll be discussing that next. Example of something Lightnin Hopkins would do. Very down-home country kind of, we call it country blues. And it deals a lot with finger picking, not so much single note picks, but a lot of playing around a chord. I'll give you an example right now. Great little Lightnin Hopkins jaunt. Once again, an example of just a lot of finger picking within a chord. I'm doing an E chord with a 7 thrown in. Okay, you can go to your 4 chord, which would be an A, and a 7. Back to your 1. Now this is a real classic. We talked about quotes earlier. This is a real classic Lightnin Hopkins quote when you go to the 5. To the 4. Okay. One of the things that made Lightnin Hopkins and a lot of the country blues players so unique was that they made changes where they felt like making the changes. There's, as everyone knows, standard within a 12-bar progression where you make the changes for your 1 chord, your 4 chord, and your 5 chord. Guys like Lightnin Hopkins tended to accompany themselves a lot of the time, and they would just make the changes wherever it felt right to make it. There's a local bluesman named Tomcat Courtney that I grew up playing with as a young guy, and it was the same thing. He would just, right where you're supposed to make that change to the 4 chord, he would still play on the 1 and then make it. And your job was to follow that. He would he'd look at you if you didn't follow him, like, you know, come on, get with it. So what that really did for me as a player was open up my ears. I got to always be listening to the guy in the front and make sure that I'm following him, you know, almost like a good soldier. Anyways, I can give you an example. Lightnin Hopkins would. Okay, now I made a change to the 4 right there. But if you were counting bars while I was doing the licks over the 1, I went over the bar. I didn't make the change right where it should have occurred, which is very, very typical in the playing of these, you know, old country bluesmen. Okay. That kind of wraps it up for a little bit of a taste of what Lightnin Hopkins was all about. If you want to learn more about and go more in depth into his style, you can do that at the Rock Academy of San Diego. And you can check our website. It's facebook.com/Rock Academy San Diego. And you can check for when the next weekly workshops will be coming up. And also on February 26th, once again, we have Coco Montoya being the special guest instructor and taking over for a 2-hour one-off workshop on that day.
Cool.
Okay.